Is everyone good to go?
Yep. I'm good.
Okay. So, the official stance that SGA is taking, is that the university is pitting two groups of students against each other, the commuters and residents, and they're not fixing the overarching problem, which is the fact that there's not enough sections for courses, nor will this change in registration guarantee that there's going to be more classes offered in person. They're just putting a little band-aid over a big wound. It's not fixing the big problem that we've been talking about for semesters even before COVID, and even this registration change. They're not the university's not guaranteeing that there's going to be more in-person classes offered. They're just it's going to be about the same classes offered for this semester. So I think 6% of the classes this semester are on ground, and it's going to be roughly the same for the next semester. Yeah, I was about to go into my personal opinion, but yeah, that's it essentially is what SGA's stance is on. Of course, we all have our personal opinions of that this is messed up. As a commuter myself, I think it's really messed up that residents are getting preference over the commuters, but essentially what I just said earlier is SGA's official stance.
Do you think the reason that they're catering specifically to on-campus resident students is because they have more risk of exposure to COVID by being on campus? So they're oh, we want them to, to be able to pick which form of class they want to take, because if they feel comfortable with taking or if they feel uncomfortable rather with being in person, we don't want them to feel forced to go to those classes. Do you think that's kind of why? Because that's the only reasonable thing that I can think of in terms of why this change is happening.
So the reason that the reason that the provost gave to the president of SGA was the fact that there was complaints from parents about there not being enough their students not getting the college experience this semester. From that just perspective, I personally think it's parents the parents of freshman students, their kids are not getting or not kids, students are not getting the authentic college experience. For me, that's not enough, and we're gonna get a more clarifying response from the provost this Friday when he comes to the meeting. But that's essentially what he said in the email to our president. The fact that parents were complaining, and they felt this would be a way to fix those complaints. It doesn't seem logical to me, but for them, it seems it makes sense. So.
Lupita, is there any chance that we would be allowed to get a copy of that email that the provost sent to the president, or is that kind of more of a personal? Totally fine either way. Just want to make sure if we are able to have it, that we can copy it correctly or quote it correctly.
I'm not sure if I can get that email for you guys. I'm sorry.
That's okay. No problem at all. Just random question. It's not a big deal at all. What was the next thing I was gonna ask? Oh, I forgot. I had that knocked me off my train of thought. Oh, that was it. Do you think there are going to be any, or have you heard of any possible extra assistance that off-campus residents or off-campus students are gonna have kind of to counteract this issue? Because obviously they're being, I'm going to use the word slighted here a little bit because of the later registration date. Do you think they're going to get any extra help or any extra access as a result of that? Have you heard anything?
By extra access, what do you mean exactly by that?
I think access was the wrong word. Mostly any extra assistance. Do you think that they're going to have a longer period to register, or anything that would help them be able to access the classes that they want as well? Because right now, if the if the on-campus residents are the ones getting the priority, the off-campus ones, obviously, as you know, are gonna
Yeah.
have a harder time registering.
No, yeah, like I think I said this earlier, like Patrick Dilger sent out like the spring registration email, and yeah, at least like the seniors, it's staying the same. Like the seniors are still going to register first. It's just divided up by credits now. So like seniors with 120 credits above like register November 4th at 8 a.m. Then seniors with 110 to 119.5 credits, they're able to register at 10 a.m. But like I'm just going to skip down to the juniors. The residential juniors, they register Monday, November 9th at 8 a.m. Then juniors with credits between 80 and 89.5 credits, they register at 10 a.m. So like so for what it seems like, it's like about like a 2-hour window that those students have before like the next wave of students are able to register. So like I hope I understood your question correctly, but it doesn't seem like they're gonna be giving like more assistance to like for like off-campus students or like commuter students to like register for, or have more time to like register for the classes.
Do you know how many commuter students this will affect?
Well, all the commuter students, like there's no we have like about I think I know that like the resident halls are only at like a third of their normal capacity. So like there's a lot more commuter students this semester than there was ever before. So I have no idea what the exact number is, but let me do the math real quick because I know that like at least I also give tours on campus, so like I have to know certain numbers already off the top of my head, and I know that about like 2,000 students more or less live on campus, but like that was of course like in previous semesters. Like that's different for right now. So okay, so like it seems like about like 825 students live on campus. Maybe I have no idea if that's an exact or correct number, but I do know at least like for what you guys are gonna write, I would say like about like 1/3 of the students living or resident halls are only at a third of their normal capacities. So yeah, like I don't know the exact number of how many students are living on campus right now, but like if roughly 800 students are living on campus and like there's about like 10,000 students or a little less than 10,000 students living on campus. Okay, so roughly 9,000 students are getting affected by this, if I did the math correctly. And like more or less. So like regardless, it's still like a big amount because like commuters make up the majority of the population on campus. So yeah, a lot of students will be affected by this, and I know I don't want to say I know, but because it might be clarified in the meeting on Friday, but like for what we were told, only students who were living on campus this semester will be allowed to register like as a resident student, if that makes any sense. So like if you lived on campus previously, but you didn't live on campus this semester, you won't be considered as a resident student. It's only for students living on campus right now that will be able to register during like the resident time slot.
So I have a question for you.
Mhm.
Going back to what we were talking about, the juniors with this many credits can register at 10 a.m. or whatever time it is, and the juniors who live on campus register at 9 a.m. I remember last semester when I tried to register for classes at 6 a.m., like all the juniors did, the whole system crashed and it was a nightmare and it took like 2 hours. So would you say that although that it's kind of an unfair advantage for the people who are living on campus first, would you say that the time blocks makes it a little easier for students?
I hope it will make it easier. I'm really hoping. because like that, like I think that was the whole, like, I mean, I think that the time slots now is a good thing. If we ignore the fact that resident juniors and the residents have like their own separate time slot, I do think it's going to alleviate the system overload a little bit more. If that made any sense or if I said that right, but like I think it's going to alleviate the system just because not a lot of students like are registering at that exact time. They're not logging on all at 6 a.m. And I also think it's good that we're not registering at 6 a.m. anymore, just because that is like starting at 8 a.m. is a reasonable time in my opinion. Yeah, I hope that like it's it's not going to crash like it did in previous years. Like at the same time, I'm like they're always fixing the system, and I'm just afraid that like they just didn't fix it enough, or like it'll still crash. If that makes any sense, because they had to like change it around just so there's like the specific time slots and stuff. But I hope that there's no problems with registration this semester, because I know this is like a new thing that we're doing. So like not we're doing, but the university is doing. So I hope that like it will alleviate the system and it won't like crash on everyone.
Do you know if it will affect people who have financial aid or grants or scholarships more or less?
I'm not entirely sure. I have no idea. Like we don't have those numbers either. But I think that actually, can I get that down? Can I get your question down just so I can ask it on this Friday?
Yeah. How will it affect those that are on grants, scholarships, or financial aid?
That's a good question. But yeah, if you guys have more questions for me that I can't answer, I'll be happy to ask them this Friday at the meeting. But I do know that like students in the honors college, like I mean I guess would count like as with like scholarships. They still have priority registration, so they're still registering the same day as seniors do. So I know that like at least that specific population on campus won't be affected by this change. Neither will students who are registered with the DRC because they also get like priority registration. I think also athletes also get priority registration as well. So yeah, like I know that at least like those specific student populations on campus, excuse me, will not be affected really by this change.
So I'm just wondering, like, what happens if I go in to sign in for my English 309 class, which is something I have to take next semester, and I can't because it's full because everybody signed up for it first. And I'm just wondering how it affects students, maybe a freshman who's coming in that needs to take English 307 before they can take this class or this class or this class. What happens if they can't get their classes? Are they just going to stick to electives, or do they get like pushed behind with credits and stuff like that?
Yeah, so that's something that we are also planning on asking them as well. So I don't have like a direct answer for that, but something that we are going to mention at the meeting is the fact that like a lot of the classes, if not all of them, have like a wait list now. So like if if they find like, oh, we don't know if this class is popular or not, like yes, you guys do, because if there's a wait list and there's a significant number of students on that wait list, it should signal them like, oh, we should create another section for this class, especially if that class like has like only one section for it. Yeah, so like I don't have a direct answer for that, but that will be answered hopefully on Friday. So I hope that answers your question.
You know, bouncing right off of that, as well. The same question could be applied to transfer seniors or to just, regular seniors who need a class to graduate. Like, I'll give you an example. I'm a transfer senior. I've only been at Southern for this semester and a little bit over this past summer. And I also have to take that English 309 class this coming spring. So if that class closes, I'm not going to be able to graduate. Without that class, there's no way around that class for the English department. You have to have it. So I would love to hear what they have to say Friday as well, in regards to graduating seniors who need these classes and who honestly do not want to stay another summer, not because they don't like Southern, but because they're done with school now, after so many years, being pretty much over being in school and want to graduate. So I'd be interested in knowing what they have to say as well to those students.
And I also opened the invitation to you guys for you guys to come to the meeting on Friday. I can always send you guys like the WebEx link. I think it appears like in the This Week at Southern email, but I'll send it to you guys regardless, just so you guys can come and just listen in for yourselves. And I do believe we're gonna have like a time during a meeting where like students can also voice their concerns or just voice their questions as well. But yeah,
I think that would be great, Lupita, if you could email us that link. I think there's an email chain with all three of us, or all four of us rather. If you just want to send it to everybody, that would be great, because I definitely would like to attend and kind of get their direct answer to these questions as well.
Yeah.
That would be great. Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
I've got another question that you might not be able to answer directly, but if you were saying that the most of the classes are going to be online and, only a handful of classes might be on campus depending on what happens next semester, do you think more online classes means bigger class sizes?
I think the way that they're defining like more online classes is just like the section wise, like they're just going to be like offered, like more sections are going to be offered either as like asynchronous, like hybrid, or synchronous. So I'm not sure if that will mean like the actual class sizes will be bigger. Yeah, it might stay the same as a semester, like the same class sizes, but yeah, I think that'd be another good question to ask for Friday.
I just feel like if they were to offer more sections, like you said, that would just kind of cut back on students not being able to get into their classes. Like Liz was saying, if she doesn't get into 309, she can't graduate. So if they expand their online, sections or class sizes, that would probably be really helpful for a lot of students. But I also get that we can't have too many people in a class because there's only one professor. So I can see both sides of that.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you think they'll keep this online registration format for the rest of, I don't know how long they plan on doing this for, or until like people return to school?
Well, right now the decision was only for the spring semester, so I'm hoping that's only for the spring semester. The one thing that I do think that they should carry on is like the different time slots, just because I think that will help alleviate the system and create less chances of like the whole system going down. So I hope that stays the same, but I do hope that like they don't try this again like for the following semester, because like it doesn't make sense for residents to have priority over commuters, in my opinion. But yeah, like Yeah, the decision was only for the spring semester, so like nothing's definitive, nothing has been set yet for like fall for like the next school year.
I think the thing about that's difficult about kind of just being a student on campus is sometimes we're not heard. I feel like they make decisions without really consulting the students. So I know that this is off topic, but they cut spring break for next semester, which, it just kind of came out of nowhere. We got the email and they were like, we cut spring break, but no one was really asked about how that would affect our learning. And I feel like it's the same about this. They just gave residents priority because, like you were saying, their parents wanted them to have the college experience. But what about us? The people who weren't asked, how is this going to affect you? It may affect Liz because she can't graduate if she doesn't get 309. And I just feel like the school needs to do a better job of reaching out to the community and its students before making a big decision like this. I don't know if anybody, has the same opinion, but I
could not agree more. Could not agree more.
Yeah, I think they should send out a lot more student surveys to get our opinions, because I haven't gotten anything since the 4 years I've been there, 3.5 years I've been there. They haven't asked me opinion on anything.
They do the same thing to transfer students. I mean, like I said, I've only been at Southern a small amount of time, so I can't really talk on a whole lot. But they're not asking. I feel like transfer students are like bottom tier in terms of communication. They don't really care about our opinion, and this definitely affects the way that a lot of us can not only finish school and continue to get the classes that we need, but also finance our education. A lot of students, I'm not sure how many, but a lot probably pay for their own schooling, and it takes a lot to plan out your finances. And it's really a pain when the schedule is not dependable. And this schedule for the spring is not going to be dependable at all, because we won't know what classes are going to be open. We can't depend on whether or not they're going to be available for registration.
Yeah, and I think.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. And I think it'll also be good for you guys to know that like student government wasn't consulted in either of these two decisions. Like we didn't know about like this. Well, okay, like originally like we were told, or at least Sarah, because well, she's the president, she sits on, I don't remember the name of the committee, but she said that discusses these sort of issues, or at least like registration was one of the issues that they discussed. And like in our in one of our Friday body meetings, she said like there's gonna be like no changes with registration, nothing at all. But then coming the following Monday, she gets she finds out like, oh hey, provost made this change, because the provost is able just to do that. He decided to make that change and allow like all the resident students register first before any of the commuters. So like a freshman resident student was going to have more priority than a commuter junior, but that all changed. So now it's a little bit better, but not enough in my opinion. So like student government wasn't consulted with that change. The provost made that change on his own. And at least for the spring break one, no one knew. Like the group chat that night that we found out about like spring break being like canceled and stuff, like was a big surprise for all of us. And like we felt like that, at least some of us like felt that like President Joe didn't advocate for us too well. With that decision, because that was like a statewide decision. It wasn't really like Southern's just singular decision. Like I think all of our university or sister schools are also not having a spring break either. So yeah, like that. Yeah, we like it. They're like we were not really consulted well on that. So I definitely hear your feelings and your concerns and stuff.
It was kind of like the whole coronavirus thing back in March. I remember being crowded around my coworkers in the academic success center. We were just watching the the question and answer Facebook Live thing, and they were answering questions, but I feel like they were answering questions in a way that they didn't really have to answer the question. They were kind of just dodging the direct question, are we closing? And they never said yes or no. And the next day, we just shut down. You know, it was 9 o'clock at night. We all got the email, and they're like, don't come back to school until April. And so I feel like the school and just the people in charge just really need to do a better job of connecting to the students. Like, you know, that's the thing I have to stress the most. Like, I need to know what's happening. You know, I'm a student who's really involved with the community and the campus, so I feel like I know there's a lot of people like me too, and we should just know what's going on.
Yeah, like I know at least like if we do have to shut down again this semester, it won't go the same way as it did in March, because like the university recognizes too, like that was a disaster. Like just telling us like 9 o'clock at night, oh, everyone leave by 12 later, you know, 12 in the afternoon, you guys can't come back. And like I rented out like a like the lockers in the student center, so like just find like, I mean, they didn't give us a direct answer, like they didn't tell us in the email like, oh, if you have like a stuff in your locker you can pick it up. Like I'm like frantically texting like everyone that I know, like my like I was texting my club advisor like, hey, like what's up, like when can I get my stuff out of my locker, you know, because I had books in there. So like that was very stressful, and then when I find out the answer, I'm like texting every commuter I know that has a locker in the student center, like, oh, if you guys go right now between these hours, you guys are able to pick it up, and that's it. And like, you know, like it
I had to buy my books again.
You did?
Very
yeah, I did. I had to buy like 3 books.
Yeah, that's not okay. That's not okay. But yeah, at least I hope I can alleviate your concerns that like this like the university is not going to abruptly shut down the same way that it did. We're not going to get like it's going to be like a little bit more of a like a planned process, and not just like, okay, everyone leave, you know, like it's going to be more planned out if that happens. But like this is also my personal opinion, but I'm surprised that we've been the university has been open for this long. That's just my opinion. Sort of off the record type of thing. Like I'm very cynical, and I'm surprised that we're still open. So I'm sort of happy about that, but yeah.
Well, I feel like with the whole
You guys, I just want to take a quick minute here to let you both know that
Hello, Liz?
Sorry, I just wanted to let you guys know real quick that I do have to go. I have to go to my work meeting. That's at 10 o'clock. So I just wanted to say thank you so much to Lupita really quick, but I am going to hop off the call. And Liz and Kim, I'm sure I'll talk to you guys later. But thanks again, okay. Lupita. This was so helpful.
Yep, no problem.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
All right, bye.
Bye.
What I was going to say is that, just to kind of wrap this up, we might be able to solve this problem of, you know, getting any registration process for students for this semester, but at least we're being heard. At least we can say this is what we think and just put that out to the community, and, you know, maybe it will have an effect for the next semester.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that was a question or not, but yeah, I think it's always important just to let us make our voices heard in whatever way possible, whether that's like posting on social media or like using like the positions that we're in to like advocate for our own voices. Yeah, I always think it's very helpful, and like it could create change. I hope it does. I really do.
So Kimberly, I guess, do you have any other questions? Lupita, is there anything we didn't ask?
Is there anything you'd like to say that we don't know?
No, I think I pretty much covered everything. Yeah, like the questions I wasn't able to answer is because like we haven't been able to get a direct answer from the provost. So like hopefully they will be answered this Friday, and we're gonna like not let them try to like, you know, skim around it. Like we're gonna be like, no, answer the question because it's a big concern for all of us. And they need to like give us a direct answer, and they know that we're gonna be asking them this, so they can't. So they have to be prepared to with the question or with the answer. So yeah.
Okay, well, we just want to thank you again for taking this time to speak with us. And it was really helpful, really informative. So, you know, we'll, again, like you said, we'll be using our positions to kind of make our voices heard from, you know, going forth in the future because of everything that's going on.
Definitely.
All right, well, thank you again so much. So you have a great rest.
Yep, no problem. I hope you guys have a nice day.
You too.
too.
Bye.